Hello and welcome to another episode of the Self-Made Podcast. And on this episode, I get Robb McGeary back onto the show, and we are going through the big James Bond debate. What we thought of the movie, a full review from start to finish, and the key moments we think are gonna, change the franchise for the future, and things we liked and didn't like. We then also talk about what is our favourite Bond, who we think should be the next Bond, as well as discussing if we were a villain, what would be our motive, plan, layer, and henchman. A really fun, interesting episode. I'm going to get Rob on a lot more episodes talking about a number of things. And if you're a fan of James Bond, the franchise itself, or you're just a fan of a light-hearted chat, this is a great episode to listen to. So I'm going to leave you with myself and Robb McGeary. So, we've got the Bond debate out. So how many times have you seen the film now?
Just twice now.
Just twice. It's the same as me, right? And there's enough time has passed for me to, let's say, calm down is probably the right thing to say. What were your initial, overall thoughts before we break it down?
So I had to watch it a second time because the first time I went, it was a great day anyway. I was in a new city for a multitude of reasons. There was a million reasons why I could have watched, I could have watched, Lost in Space with Matt LeBlanc, and it would have been amazing. It could have been something stupid like that. So I was like, I have to watch it a second time. Now, I still love it. I love it. It went down a little bit in my estimation from second viewing, but that's more from comparing it to previous ones rather than just previously what I thought about it after my first viewing.
Yeah. What do you think went down? What made it worse the second time, do you feel?
It seems a little rushed between certain things. We could talk spoilers in this one.
Yeah, this is a spoilers podcast. I'm going to put a big warning up. So, we can't not.
Yeah, it's very drama. There's some fucking fantastic action, but there's a lot of drama that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
I was chatting with a friend of mine, and we said it's the most human portrayal of Bond we've probably seen. But did we really need that? He's a ruthless assassin. Do we need a human Bond?
Yes. And I think I've now watched the second time, and I actually enjoyed it more the second time. And I think it's a little bit based off the fact that I still, overall, I'm going to say I don't like it. But I find it very, very difficult to truly say that, because I think if the way I've explained it to people is if you, with the exception of yourself, which is why I was kind of interested to get you on, because you are a big Bond fan. For most people, I think if you are a kind of a Bond fan, it's just a good action movie. I'm not that fussed. I don't take it too seriously. It's objectively a very good film. There's some great action sequences. Yeah. And I think it's... watching it the second time and understanding that sort of nanobot story, which just seemed to be a bit overly complicated when you're trying to understand it the first time. I think if you were a hardcore Bond fan, the majority of people will hate it because of the creative decisions made. But it made me frustrated even more because we'll go on to the ending in a second. But I consider this movie the tale of two halves. The first half was phenomenal. That opening sequence is one of the best in Bond.
Without a doubt.
And then it sort of falls off a cliff just after the Norway section. And it just seemed like it was a story to end Daniel Craig's run more than it was a Bond movie. They got there and they're going, oh shit, we need a villain. Let's stick a villain in. Oh fuck, we've got to. Where do we put Rami Malek? Here. And it just seemed rushed in that sense, right?
Yeah. I thought he was the least. And I like the portrayal of Blofeld, but obviously in Spectre it wasn't the greatest film anyway. And I like the idea to bring back for a second one, but it was a case of, okay, so we need a bigger, better villain than fucking Blofeld. And what do we get? It wasn't that great of a villain. It was all, It was literally like they went, right, here's the idea for every Bond villain we've ever had on 50 million Post-it notes. Let's just grab 3 random ones and that'll do.
Yeah.
And give it to Rami Malek because he's awesome.
It was sort of like a half Dr. No, half Robert Greene from Quantum, wasn't it? And it was, I thought it had the potential of being so good. Again, going back to the opening sequence again. where that scene where he comes in, it's almost horror movie-esque, and the director, Fujinawa, has a writing credit on it, and you can see why.
Yeah.
And like it could have been so good, but this whole film screams wasted potential for me. Like, it was almost fucking knockout. Almost. But I'm very emotional in terms of the reasons why.
Sure.
So go on. No, you go on.
I was just going to say that the opening scene, the whole shootout, the chase, incredible. The Norway scene, incredible. And then we went to London, where they're breaking into the lab. And even on the first viewing, when they jumped down the lift with the magnets, I was like, this is going to be like Mission Impossible. This is going to be shit now. I've seen that bit. They're going to go too far. But because I was willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I was a little bit high as well, not on drugs, but natural energy. I walked out of there like, oh, that was amazing. That was cool. But then the second time watching it going, there's like a little bit of Mission Impossible. There's like a little bit of thriller, drama type stuff. There's some Bond in there as well. There's a bit of an unnecessary ending.
I think going into a little bit about the opening sequence, and I think we both sort of said it was one of the best on record, and I think that was one of the best directed opening sequences ever. Like the scene when the explosion goes off and you can feel it, the sound changes, the distortion in his voice changes. And I'm like, it really felt like you were sort of like right in the middle of this. The only thing that sort of took me out of it was when they were sort of on that bridge and you had the car coming from one side and the bike coming from the other way, and they're shooting at him. I'm like, how bad are you at shooting? He sits there, he just stares at them, smouldering. I'm like, have you got time to do that?
There's two moments in that film where he seems to be bulletproof. Yeah. It's that exact moment, and when he's in the woods with the Range Rovers driving around. And they see him and they're shooting, and he just turns and walks off like that. And you're like,
he's so nonchalant.
He'd be fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird. That was a weird bit. But
the Aston got some use though, right? Like I watched a video online recently about, is it time to retire the Aston Martin DB5? And this person was basically making the argument that it isn't, because people think it's been used more than it has because of all the marketing and the toys, and we're actually used in 5 films, and most of them for less than 5 minutes. And this was probably the best portrayal of it certainly since Skyfall, but maybe even since Goldfinger. You know,
people forget there's not been an Aston Martin in every single carnation. There's not
the Lotus era for a while in
Roger. Lotus is free.
If it wasn't a submarine, it would have been terrible.
Yeah, man. I choked up at 2 moments. I didn't choke up at Bond, even though the music fucking got me. Hans Zimmer's just a fucking genius.
Yes, I agree.
Was amazing.
Some people criticizing the score, and I thought, Zimmer, I loved in a way the parallels. One thing this movie did well in general, actually, but certainly with Hans Zimmer's score, was the parallels to previous Bond movies. Like the little bit of On a Majesty's Secret Service going in there, the death of that really annoying American guy. I can't remember the name of him now. That was a very Furies only sort of reminded me of them in kicking that car off the cliff. There were so many good callbacks to other movies, and I kind of like that.
That's why I like Spectre, because there's a lot of those in there as well. There's a lot of those in there. That's why I kind of like Spectre as a film. But yeah, you're right. There's a lot of the throwbacks. I don't think are a good thing either, because it feels like, that's a throwback. It's not like they've gone, shit, we're out of ideas. Let's just, we've done this scene before and that was cool. Let's do it again. No, it was cool. Little throwbacks to some fucking amazing films, and some amazing scenes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I choked up with the Aston Martin getting shot because I didn't like Aston Martin, especially that bad. I didn't cry at the end, but I choked up when he goes to Vesper's grave.
I could see. I saw that.
He says, I'm like, what's he going to say? And he just says 3 simple words and a lump in my throat. My God, that got me.
Yeah. The car certainly did for me a little bit. I didn't think I choked up at. I don't think I choked up at any moment, because I think a lot of the decisions made in this movie were my jaw dropped going, they're not doing this, are they? You having a fucking laugh. And believe it or not, the first time I thought that in this movie was when they killed off Felix Leiter. First spoiler of the day. And and that was done quite well, and I didn't mind it. And they did a good job of building the relationship between them early on, so you did feel something when it happened.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there going, "What? You're not going to kill off Felix or Blofeld? Like, where'd you go from there?" And like by the end of the movie, I was like, "Don't give a fuck about that anymore." Like that's not important anymore.
Yeah. If you think about it, he didn't. Rami Malek. Then, therefore, they killed off Blofeld, the most powerful villain, and here's this other geezer that's suddenly, for some random reason, more powerful than the Spectre. But they killed him off, and he didn't really do anything.
Oh,
what did he do? He built the island. He's got the. I forget the name of it. My brain's gone this morning because I've only had one coffee. He's got the DNA stuff. What's the
nanobots.
The nanobots.
Not Hercules project. Heracles. That's
Heracles. He's got Heracles. He doesn't do anything. No one gets killed. No one gets fucked up.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what was his plan? Like, I totally get the logic of he wants to kill off Spectre because they killed his family, and then he achieves that, and then it was just like, well, what's next? World domination. I'm like, this is. There's no more thought to this than a Pinky and the Brain episode, and I watched it back the second time, and I was like, right, I'm going to try and work it out, and they sort of alluded it to be some sort of like population control. Him doing something for the bigger picture. But they never say it. I'm like, why are you taking over the world?
I bet the conspiracy theorists are going mad with this one.
Yes.
DNA.
Did Bond know? Is Barbara Broccoli behind this all? Harry Saltzman knew all along that COVID was going to happen.
No, so anyone who's been double vaxxed, you're either safe or you're not. I don't know. But if your DNA's been modified either way.
Yeah, exactly. When you touch someone, they start bubbling up. You now know what's happened, right? So, like, going on to the obviously the main talking point from this movie is the final sequence in this layer, and I think again I thought that was really really good. I thought the layer was good. I thought that the impending doom was good. I didn't quite understand the fact that so he had to open the blast doors because if he didn't, then it wouldn't go in and wouldn't blow up the place, right?
Sure. Because it was an old missile silo.
Yeah. So, like, I don't see why he needed to die then. If those things were shut, he could just stayed inside, but whatever. But the first thing that annoyed me before we get onto the big one, and this is when it was like one of the things where I was like, there's a few things in this where I felt like this is the 2021 Bond. This is Bond for the Me Too era.
Yeah.
The first one was the fact there was no womanizing in this. He tries twice and he gets turned down both times. With Ana de Armas going, oh, no, not at all. Just put on the suit. I'm like, it's Bond. and the second one was Lashana Lynch's character, which I don't think she did a bad job. I thought they played it relatively well. I don't think she took the spotlight away from Bond too much. I don't think she's got the charisma to take the role. But I think maybe a good spin-off, though. But there's when they got that scientist, I don't know if you picked up on this, they got that scientist, and she was holding on to him for a good 30 minutes. And then all of a sudden he says a racist remark, and then she kills him. And I'm like, well, if you weren't keeping him alive, why don't you just shoot him to start with? Why wait for this point? We're like, I could wait. It's like you can't have a black actor without going, hey, we're good to the black people. I was like, is that more racist?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah.
Because, the more racist thing will obviously be no representation at all, which, sure, I agree with that.
Yeah.
But then to keep making points about it, surely isn't it? Wouldn't it be racist if I did like the old David Brent, brought in a black man and went, look, everyone, I've got a black friend. Look, black, this is my friend, but he's black. That's racist.
Exactly. And if you compare that to Q being gay, that was given away earlier in the film, was just a passing comment and no one gave a shit. Why? Because it's not a big deal. Like, doesn't matter. Yeah. You do you.
A little bit extra character development for his final film, because I assume they're going to roll over characters, but I could be wrong.
I think, I know we're going to go on to who we think is going to play the next Bond in a second, but I think they're waiting to cast the next one because they want to see what the feedback is of this. Whether people go, oh, it's so progressive and amazing, then they're going to do something fucking terrible, or they're going to go, oh, that was the worst decision ever, which is the camp I'm in. And then they're just going to reboot the franchise again with losing 60 odd years of history. And like, what was your thoughts? Saying you loved the movie, what was your thoughts on them killing off James Bond?
So I would have been, okay, so they did it, and it is a bit more of it felt a lot more like this is Daniel Craig's final thing, and there ain't going to be anyone after it. Well, even though there is, there ain't going to be anyone that can match him for a while, so let's make it the exact final ending and kill him off, which they didn't have to do. They could have given him the happy ending. He's retired, the big enemies are gone, drives off into the sunset with the girl and the kid. And some people would have been annoyed at that, and some people wouldn't have been annoyed. I would have been annoyed with how badly he got shot up if he had somehow appeared in that car at the end of the scene and they're like, oh, he just found a way off the island. Or you saw him jump off or something like that. He's not going to swim across because he's been shot multiple times and he's bleeding like a mofo. That would have annoyed the fuck out of me if they'd just done that. Just gone, oh, he's Bond. Of course he's fine. But it does feel a lot more like, again, they didn't need to kill him off because they've never done that in any changeover of the actor whatsoever. So it's not essential that no one's assuming it's the exact same fucking geezer every time anyway.
Yeah, but I think the big point about that is like in the sense of, yes, we all know it's a bit silly. He gets younger every 10 to 15 years. Yeah. He's been the same age since the 60s. But the whole, like, they've debunked this thing of James Bond as a code name for years, right? It's completely debunked. Skyfall put an end to that with the graves of the parents. And I get they rebooted the franchise with Casino Royale, but it's supposed to be one narrative thread of one single man. And this is my same argument of not having Idris Elba. And it's not that I don't have any issues with a black man playing the role. I think this may open up. I'm less against Idris now, you know, after this. But it's like having, I always use this example, but it's almost terrible, really, because actually this would be epic. But it's like having Michael Gambon for 4 Harry Potter movies play Dumbledore and then have Morgan Freeman randomly with no explanation. And that's better because it's a magic thing. I know they did it to Felix. I know they did it to Moneypenny. But it's supposed to be one narrative thread of one man. And there's so much history tied up in this that I just think it potentially is disastrous for what the future of the franchise for killing off this character. Where do you go? You've painted yourself into a huge corner.
They really have. They've put a lot of pressure on this next one now for the actor and for the actual movie whenever it comes around. That's a lot of pressure because there was a phenomenal franchise who's had like 50% great, 50% not so great. But it's, you know, loads of people walking around going, oh, he's the best Bond. And he's a new, you know, generational Bond for a lot of people. So it's a lot of pressure for whoever the next person is because they're like, well, you're going to have to beat this geezer to be killed off. But we still don't really know, like, you can't go by box office records. We still don't know if people actually think it's good or not, really.
And the US so far has bombed. And I think it's because spoilers came out. Really? Yeah, I think it's because spoilers came out of the UK and then they were like, I don't want to see Bond die. And I don't know how much I'm against that. I don't want it to bomb, and I do want to point to you, May, as like, you don't do this. And the woman who's got the creative license probably of making this decision is, by the way, is also involved in the next Indiana Jones movie. So watch this space of all the male characters in cinema now. I've sent you a post. So I wonder what killing off all strong male characters in Hollywood for the sake of diversity is going to do to male mental health in 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, as a British guy as well, I think, like, we don't get much. We don't get many strong white British men as massive icons in Hollywood. It's like Americans and like, it's a similar thing now. If you went down a woman's route for the next James Bond, you'd have to change so much of the franchise. It became his daughter or that black girl. You have to change so much of the franchise that it wouldn't be recognizable anymore. And it's almost, again, like the point of the racism thing. It's more sex to say, you can't draw your own film, but have ours. We'll do the marketing for you. You go on, sweetheart. You know, you do that. And I just like, I can't see how this isn't going to be incredibly damaging with the franchise. I left that cinema angry, less inclined to watch the next one.
Yeah.
Not more excited.
Yeah. But there's so much in here on who it's going to be. You know, obviously I assume nothing's decided even behind the scenes yet. but they probably know who they're looking at, whatever, and all that. But I don't know, man. I'd also, as much as I can see decent spin-offs coming from it, I don't want them to do a spin-off either, because to me that just feels cheap.
I don't mind a spin-off because it's Amazon have bought MGM, right? So there probably will be like TV
shows. So probably will be then, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I don't mind that as long as it's not Bond. So like Bond is in it. Like the Charlotte Lynch, this female black, call her 006, whatever.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'll watch it. Like, awesome. Maybe she'll be as good in 10, 20 years. But I certainly don't want to water down the James Bond franchise. And I think you've already watered him down by killing him off, because now it's become a bit like Doctor Who. You just put a new guy in. Yeah. Where do you think they go from here? Do you think you cast someone completely different? Do you think they have Bond as a code name? Like, as in, like, now they put the code name thing and go, you are now Bond. You could be called James. You could be called James Bond as a code name, as a tribute, or do you think you'll just forget all about it, reboot the franchise, and pretend it never happened?
I'd like to, because let's not forget, it's all, even though there's not a single film that is named 007 and then the film name, or even James Bond and then the film name, it's Bond stories.
Yeah.
So, do they do, which will be a bit cheap as well, do they do some sort of prequel?
They've already done that. It's Casino Royale.
Yeah. Like,
are they all going to be telling stories?
Even before that, even earlier than that.
Oh, no.
I can see them doing it. I can see them going way, way back. This is his childhood story. This is his orphan story. This is his military service. This is how he got into the Secret Service. These were his first kills.
It's got to be modern, though, right? Like, my dad was one that complained when Casino Royale came out, going, well, it should have been set in the 60s or something like that. I'm like, no. Yeah. Bond is about the cars and the gadgets and the locations. Yeah. Like, you can't do it in the past.
Yeah. And the issue they've also got is, as they do modernize it, like we saw with the magnets, the chance they're going to want to make it even more futuristic, it's just going to turn into a silly, like, version of Mission Impossible, so to speak.
Which is, and I think there was a lot of things in this that made me concerned it was going down that path.
I'd like to see them start with a completely new, not necessarily totally unknown, but I don't necessarily want a big name actor to take it over, even though I have my money on some people. But
I have a clear favourite. I have an absolute favourite. I think it's like, do you follow rugby much?
Not much.
Okay. You're a football guy.
Less.
But more so, right? But it's like saying, if I'm picking an All Black side, if Richie McCaw's alive, he plays. If Wilkinson's alive, he plays. If Cristiano Ronaldo is alive and on the squad, he plays. If there's Henry Cavill in the world, he's Bond. Like, there's a man who's born, his genetics have basically just said, we're going to make you James Bond.
Yeah.
Just wait. He's got to be.
Exactly.
He's too
perfect. As soon as if DC was sorting its shit out and there was a good few Superman Cavill films yet to come, I could see him not taking it on, because he
said he wanted it so much.
A Man from U.N.C.L.E. was the perfect portrayal. That could have been. Okay, it wasn't a Bond film, but that could have been a Bond film. Could have been.
Yeah, and like it depends on how you want to go down the route as well. Like, if you want to go down more of the Daniel Craig broody route again, Tom Hardy would work, and he's not against taking big franchise roles. Whereas, but the thing is, I tend to find that they tend not to go for those people. I almost think they try to save money on the first one in case he's shit, and then pay him money if he's better, right? Like Daniel Craig was a relative unknown.
It's true. Like, okay, Roger Moore was big-ish.
Yeah,
Roger Moore was probably the biggest actor before he took on a Bond role out of anyone.
Easily.
Because Pierce Brosnan wasn't huge. Didn't really know him before that. Same with Lazenby, same with Dalton, and even Connery.
What amazed me about Timothy Dalton was that if you compare him to Daniel Craig is a very small man that they did a very good job of making him look very big in cinema. Timothy Dalton is a gigantic human who they've made look very small on cinema. Like, you see him in Hot Fuzz, he's a big dude. Huge. Like, how did you not look that big as Bond? Like, that would have been like his biggest. I think he's underrated. His biggest drawback was he didn't look as tough, and I'm like, well, in real life he does.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I liked License to Kill was one of my favourites.
License to Kill, incredible. Yeah, incredible one.
Yeah.
For that, they missed the trick.
So, who do you think, if you're looking at unknown people that are sort of like under the radar, who do you think?
I like to think, like people, when Daniel Craig was announced, most people knew of Daniel Craig from maybe one or two films.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see it that sort of. Even though Cavill would be my dream, I dream about him anyway. I'd like to think that that's what they'll do. I know a lot of people are shouting about Idris Elba. I think there's two things behind that. One, it's because you say to a lot of people and these are the people that probably cry they're the least racist person in the world. Right, name a black actor, Idris Elba. So that's what they go with, because that's the only English black actor they can think of. But Geezer's going to be in his 60s when they start filming.
Yeah, he's too old now, isn't he?
That's when Roger Moore one started getting really shit.
Yeah,
it's because you could see this geezer's old. There's not a lot he can do.
Yeah.
Now, he's got the charm, sophistication, and he can do the brutal. I'm sure he would be phenomenal. Yeah, he would be phenomenal in any role whatsoever. I can't see it going to him because of the age.
Yeah.
Could he go to another younger black man potentially?
Well, they're talking about the guy from Bridgerton, aren't they?
I don't even know what that is.
Whatever his name is. Yeah. I mean, he's suave. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm the racist guy on the podcast, but like, I think it doesn't matter anymore. It's not a narrative thread of one man anymore. Like, this is the thing that baffles my mind is the doors have opened because you basically destroyed 60 years of history in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
it did very much set up the fact that, like Skyfall did, we've got, he's Bond. He is James Bond. It's not a pseudonym. He is James Bond. Spectre didn't really touch on it much, but obviously in this one, we've now seen there is another 007.
But not another Bond. The code name is 007.
Yeah. So they could go.
But did you watch to the end of the credits?
It said James Bond will
return. Not 007 will return. James Bond will return. Like, one thing I was going to say earlier on, what I think that I would have liked, I still wouldn't have liked it. But if you wanted the get out of jail free card when they've done almost the missiles coming and killing him, when he first, because I thought they were killing him as soon as the door was introduced. As soon as the door was introduced,
as soon as they did that single door close,
and but then when he got infected with the things at the end and he couldn't touch them and see them, I had this thing in my back of mind of this tiny bit of hope. Even though that mate confirmed it in his head that he was going to sacrifice himself, I thought, this is a way of him getting off the island. But because of him being infected, he cannot see his wife and his girlfriend and daughter again. Meaning he can carry on this slightly tortured, broken man character.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would have loved that. Yeah. That would have been fine. Yeah. But no, they went through all the way. And, oh my God, it makes my blood boil. I've been ranting to so many people like, you don't kill Bond in a Bond movie.
Yeah.
Not Doctor Who.
Man, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not Doctor Who. It's a great way of putting it.
Is there anyone in mind with you talking about the unknown actors? Is there anyone that springs into your mind and you think, that
not necessarily? Because really, I could say anyone really, but I know a few people I know have all said to get. I don't know his name. I do know his name. Richard Madden.
Which one's Richard Madden?
He was Robb Stark in Game of Thrones.
Oh, right.
Everyone's talking about this show called The Bodyguard, which I never saw.
Yes, I was going to say him.
Yeah. I swear his name's Richard Madden. I could be wrong.
Yes, because I think it is.
All I know him is as Robb Stark, and obviously Robb Stark Patrol was not what James Bond, but apparently this Bodyguard one looks decent.
Is he too young?
Just seems a bit whiny.
Very Googling on the air is
it could be the first emo Bond that we've ever had.
Richard Madden. I want to know his age. He's 35 years old. Which, by the time they actually get around to casting and filming, he might be just about the right age. I would sort of take it. Going back to a Scottish Bond, I will always look at him and I'll always remember the American backlash for The Bodyguard. Did you ever hear about this? So I don't know how much you saw about The Bodyguard, but obviously he's the bodyguard to the Prime Minister and he was having an affair with her. And he obviously kept calling her ma'am, but in a very Scottish accent. The Americans thought he was calling her mum. And people like on Twitter going, what is this incestual TV show on the BBC?
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
I could tell, that was where I was going as well. It's like, if you're going to like recast with a semi-unknown actor, I can't think of anyone better than that. I think Tom Hiddleston, even though in The Night Manager, really good, he'd have to put on a bit of size.
Yeah, have to.
Yeah.
Have to.
After Daniel Craig as well. Like, that's one of the things where it's like, if you're going to make it Bond again and not make it female.
Yeah, he'd have to be the first knowingly juiced up, openly juiced up James Bond we've ever had.
I mean, like, Henry Cavill would be a step up.
Say again?
Henry Cavill would be a step even further if they went down. He's a monster.
Fucking insane guy. Yeah. Which would be great, because he's got it all. He's got the body. He can turn on the brutal, the hard. He can do emotional as well. He can do the chant. He can do the sexy. He can fucking do it all.
Mission Impossible, even with the mustache, I thought Bond.
That was amazing.
Yeah. No, it's got to be, doesn't it? It really.
It ticks all the boxes, but I don't see them going that way. I don't see them doing it.
Normally, I'd agree with you, because they don't tend to go for big box office people. But it's just because he's been so vocal of wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that if you're, I think it's Saltzman's last one, but Broccoli, if you're her, you go, like, and she came out and said that she didn't want a female Bond, because she said, like Daniel Craig, there should be better roles for women. And in my role, I think that's exactly the way it should be.
It's great. It's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
But do you think that was a ruse to throw people off the scent of killing Bond?
I don't know. I'd like to think that she knows if they went with a female Bond, that franchise is dead before it's even hit the fucking cinema. And it's not to do with, it's because no one wants to watch it because she's a woman. It's because you've changed too much. It can't possibly be the same thing. It can't be the same thing. Like, you can't ever make a film about a female MMA fighter winning a male major MMA championship. You can't, because there's going to be at some point that bird's going to get fucked up.
Yeah.
And in that world, there's going to be some point that bird's going to get fucked up. So it's just not viable at all. Yeah. And if they do that, franchise is dead.
I agree, so, and I think it throws, not to sound melodramatic, although this is going to be a melodramatic point, but it just throws a big concern in the way of a cinema. Like, I thought, like, Ghostbusters is female, Ocean's 11 is now all female, and it's the point where it's like, what is left? I thought Bond was going to be the only thing immune, because it's enriched into pop culture for the last 60 odd years, and it has evolved with the times. Yes, he's a misogynistic dinosaur, to quote M in Goldeneye, but it's modernized to a degree where it's not You Only Live Twice, where Tiger says, in Japan, men come first, women come second. It's not a pat on the bum in Goldfinger.
Yeah.
And like, it was these things that some people were coming out with, like Fujinawa came out and said, like, Bond was a little bit rapey in the early ones. I'm like, no, not really. He slept with people to get information. And I'm like, has it aged well? But it's like cancelling Little Britain, isn't it? Like, if everything that hasn't aged well is now bad, I was like, well, you've got no TV shows left.
Yeah. But and you look at that era, different times, whatever, but no one was, guys would be watching those old films and going, yeah, that's how we do it. That's how we seduce women. And women, if it was such an outrage, would have been screaming about that back then. But that was, for a lot of women, they may like to admit it or not, that was a dream. A man to take that control and just grab him and give him a kiss and whatever. I'm not a complete stranger on the fucking street, but Bond never did that.
Yeah.
Never did that. There was always some interaction between them beforehand, always.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't call it a rapey film.
No. It's like, yeah, and a Bond girl is something that, like, I've never met a woman in my life that says they wouldn't want to be a Bond girl. Like, if you get to that conversation, you all want to be. And I also think, if you look back in history, like, for empowering women, Bond has been ahead of the times. You go as far as the woman that you signed into this chat as Pussy Galore. Like, how much of a badass was she?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, some of the names like Pussy Galore, Holly Goodhead, but like a lot of them were quite, not all of them, a lot of them are very strong, very capable females. And I think that there's got to be roles for white males to have role models. And yes, he's not the best role model in everything, but also confidence, authenticity, like those sort of characteristics of how a man should carry himself comes across very well in a Bond movie. And I think most people know the difference between those traits that they want and sleeping with married women.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
So to go on to your final sort of question, you posed a question before this, and I thought this was really interesting to the point where I've actually written down my answers. So you put the question, if you could be your own Bond villain, what's your plan, methods, HQ, and henchman? So I'll let you start, as this was your game. Right. What is your Bond villain?
Because everyone always says, what Bond would you be, or what Bond villain would you be? No. Let's create our own. So I would, I haven't decided on a name, but it doesn't matter. It could just be my own name. I would be, HQ, need a private island. But my budget is not huge. So what I've done is I've flooded the driveway between UK mainland and Canvey Island, which is about a 400-metre stretch of road that high tide comes in, high tide comes out, so you can't get in and off the island at certain times of the day or certain times of the year. I've blown up that road, so that's now Canvey Island is now mine, where I'm doing all my procedures from. My plan is simple: to put a pinprick in the manufacturing process for every single condom that is ever made. Because unlike most Bond villains who want to depopulate the world and kill everyone, I want to cause more chaos. I want to overpopulate the world, because that's when shit really hits the fan. We depopulate the world and kill everyone, it's easy. There's only a few people. Everyone gets what they want then. If we overpopulate it, things get wild. Things get mad.
I like that.
Yeah. And
your henchman?
Oh, God, fuck, I forgot about henchman. My henchman was... I've completely forgotten. It was a wrestler. I've completely forgotten. It was literally just the wrestler being them. Because then you're like, oh, cool, another wrestler as a Bond role.
Batista was epic.
Batista was incredible. Batista was just great. He was a great role.
That's why I like Spectre. A lot of people don't. It was such a old school Bond movie with the lair and the henchman. Yeah. They added the gadgets back, and I thought, oh, this is some silly humor here. I liked it.
It was a miniature version of Doink the Clown with removable metal arm. So,
okay, that's pretty cool.
Just a little bit creepy, it's a little bit funny, it's a little bit brutal. Yeah.
So, for me, I always think the best villains are people where their motives are understandable. So, like, they are, in a way, they are right, but they are also, their motives to do this and are contradicting. Like, the best villains are the bad guys that kind of got a point. So the method I would use is it could be a nanobot thing, but I'm not going to say that because that's too modernistic and Mission Impossible. So I'm going to say like a nerve agent, like Goldfinger did.
Sure. Yeah.
And my plan would be to take out any person in the world that sells Booty or Herbalife products. Because people will empathize with me, but they won't empathize with the method, which makes me a bad guy, but a flawed hero. Yeah, I can play on the fact that I'm saving the world.
It's awesome because that will trigger a decent amount of people as well.
Yeah, good. And like then it started going into my own life. So I think I'm probably going to end up a Bond villain. But like a HQ, I'm going to go with a basement gym. And the reason why is because I always said when I worked at Cities that this is the perfect zombie apocalypse place. Like it's underground. There's so many locked doors. You've got food in terms of protein shakes. You've got weapons in terms of like barbells and dumbbells. And I think it would be like this, almost this tortured, slightly scarred gym bro who's like, he got his money lost by a Herbalife scam, and his face burnt by a booty getting thrown in his face, and he's now like wants to fight back. And like Henchman, I mean, I'm sort of going into my psyche here because like someone did say to me recently, and I won't say who in case I get him in trouble, but I'll tell you off air. Did say that Nick Mitchell is like a Bond villain. So maybe I'm just explaining his plan. So my henchman was also going to be a wrestler. I was originally thinking someone like Roman Reigns because he's jacked, he's cool as fuck. He felt like he could control an army.
Yeah.
But then I just thought Eddie Baruta. For anyone listening to this who doesn't know Eddie, he's a very angry, stern Bulgarian personal trainer. And he seems like the person that would be on my side to eliminate Herbalife from the world and use no bullshit. And I can see him with a big scar along his face or a bionic eye or something. Like just something happens to him that makes him slightly even, just tips him over that angry edge.
Defo. And he just wants to, his special move is humiliating people by grabbing their Supras. God, what the fuck is this?
He's got a weapon with like an exploding Febreze so he can spray any potential clients getting in his path. I'm not going to get done for defamation on this one. But like, just like, I think that's good fun. To finish off on something that's not like taking the mick out of people we know. Like, who is your favourite Bond to date?
So for me, it's 100% Bond is Sean Connery for me. Or Sean Connery is Bond. My favourite Bond films, because it was just around about not necessarily my era in terms of age, but the first ones I would see because my older brother was watching more time, are a lot of the Roger Moore ones. Spy Who Loved Me, Man with a Golden Gun, Live and Let Die. I fucking love those films.
Yeah.
But then you could easily take any of the other guys away, including Pierce Brosnan, even though GoldenEye I think is a great fucking film, and then just carry on straight with Casino Royale, and I'd be happy. I'd be happy with that.
The Roger Moore, I think, in a way, is underestimated. So he's not my favourite, but like Live and Let Die, like the scene where they got this funeral, and the guy goes, "Whose funeral is it? Yours." And then all of a sudden, the guy with the trumpet comes out. Gets me every time. Spy Who Loved Me was one of my favourite movies for a very, very long time in the franchise. But You Only Live Twice is probably my favourite. Yeah, and I just love the silliness of America and Russia putting all their money into the space race. But this tiny little volcano layer in Japan can not only have the money to build a bigger rocket, but a bigger rocket that eats the other rockets. And I like that. And I used to have a model of little Nelly. And I just thought it's so good. The only thing that ruins it on a run back is one. I can't remember the actor's name now. Mine's gone blank. It's been too long since I've had a coffee. The guy who played the guy with the wooden leg, knowing that he comes back as Blofeld 4 films later randomly, and it ages bad. We already talked about the sexism lines, but the bit where he goes, he must become Japanese, and he just sort of like grease his hair down and put his eyebrows up. And I'm just like, watching it back, it's hard at times watching some of the old Sean Connery ones, but he's still my Bond, and probably closely followed by Craig.
Sure, yeah.
I like the most rewatchable ones now. I think are probably Daniel Craig, but it may be just because it's the era.
Yeah, and they're great standalone films as well. I mean, maybe not so much Quantum of Solace, but I could watch Casino Royale and Skyfall all day, every day. All day, every day.
And I could watch Spectre.
Yeah, and Spectre, yeah.
I would almost watch this one. And the reason why I would like to bring this full circle, the reason why when I watched it the second time, I was more annoyed, despite enjoying it more, was that I realized how much closer it was to a really good Bond movie. It's like, if you hadn't done that ending, like leaving the cinema people angry. I heard about people in the cinema in the UK, there was booze and people throwing stuff at the screen on one showing. I'm assuming that wasn't your showing, but
my showing, no.
But it was an interesting thing. Awesome, man. This has been good fun. We need another film franchise to go through this, and we'll do another.
Yeah, definitely. But Top Gun 2. When Top Gun 2. do this again.
100%, 100%. I think, like we'll definitely do a few more of these. If people want any topics of me and Rob, just let us know, because like, my niche is going more into guys, especially after watching this film. Yours is very much into guys, so like we'll get on a few more of these and talk things that the guys listening to this particularly want.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Rob. I'll speak to you soon.